Breaking news. Everyone in Utah will be able to get the COVID-19 vaccine next week.
Less than 2 hours ago, Governor Spencer Cox announced that the vaccine will be available to all Utah adults on March 24th.
As of next Wednesday of next week, we will authorize vaccinations for every adult in the state.
The governor made the announcement this morning during his monthly news conference. He says every type of vaccine will be available to anyone over 18 years old. Those who are 16 to 18 years old will only be able to get the Pfizer vaccine.
This is a significant movement in timing. It also means that there will not be vaccine available for everyone in the state next week. I want to be very clear about that.
Even though Utahns have to wait until next week to get the shot, they can sign up for an appointment now. Appointments can be made at coronavirus.utah.gov. Those who will be eligible for the vaccine next week but want to make their appointment now need to make sure they are making the appointment for after March 24th. Breaking news. Governor Spencer Cox extends the mask mandate for state employees and state properties until at least May 31st.
All executive branch employees will be expected to still wear a mask at work. Even with the statewide mask mandate ending on April 10th, Cox says those who have been vaccinated will still be required to wear masks at work. Some ingredients in Johnson & Johnson's COVID vaccines got mixed up, ruining 15 million potential doses.
Now, it being the third conference where it's only streamed, it's just so crazy that how that COVID affects stuff like this so much.
How COVID affects the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints' General Conference this weekend.
Totally comfortable with airlines and other businesses starting to get rid of these COVID restrictions that they've had on.
What COVID restrictions Delta is lifting.
We need women in politics.
Women empower more women to run for office.
A family prepares to say goodbye to their dog after it was set on fire.
Utah restaurants begin opening back up as the pandemic winds down.
It prohibits a driver to operate a vehicle when their driver's view is obstructed.
Governor Cox signs 129 bills into law, including one that will impact all Utah drivers.
I'm dedicated to ensuring Provo will always be economically vibrant.
Mayor Kaufusi gives her second of 4 State of the City addresses.
1 year ago today, a 5.7 magnitude earthquake rocked the Wasatch Front. Two brothers were buried in an avalanche over the weekend, but managed to escape.
I wish I could tell you that this haunting nightmare was just a dream, but it is not.
Paris Hilton testifies about the abuse she suffered as a teen at a Provo boarding school.
Preserves due process and the rights of both sides.
The Senate is set to begin its second impeachment trial of former President Donald Trump. Find out what led customers and workers to engage in a bath and body beatdown.
Disney Plus decides to restrict viewership for certain movies due to racial insensitivity. Find out which classics got cut.
The BYU Kennedy Center tells students au revoir instead of bon voyage. When and why study abroad trips are canceled.
The Utah Valley University pedestrian bridge is now open.
I think it's pretty efficient. I mean, it's nice on a good day like this.
See how this bridge helps students get to campus.
People hit with water cannons as they protest in the streets of Miramar. We'll tell you why they are protesting.
This is the actual AirPod that I had swallowed.
You might not want to sleep with your AirPods in after hearing how one man swallowed one of his in his sleep.
We are live in 3, 2, 1.
It prohibits a driver to operate a vehicle when their driver's view is obstructed.
Governor Cox signs 129 bills into law, including one that will impact all Utah drivers.
I'm dedicated to ensuring Provo will always be economically vibrant.
Mayor Kaufusi gives her second of 4 State of the City addresses.
1 year ago today, a 5.7 magnitude earthquake rocked the Wasatch Front. Welcome to Newsline. It's Thursday, March 18th. I'm Catherine Bennett.
And I'm Tucker Thompson. Breaking news. Everyone in Utah will be able to get the COVID-19 vaccine next week.
Less than 2 hours ago, Governor Spencer Cox announced the vaccine will be available to all Utah adults on March 24th.
As of next Wednesday of next week, we will authorize vaccinations for every adult in the state.
The governor made the announcement this morning during his monthly news conference. He says every type of vaccine will be available to anyone over 18 years old. Those who are 16 to 18 years old will only be able to get the Pfizer vaccine.
This is a significant movement in timing. It also means that there will not be vaccine available for everyone in the state next week. I want to be very clear about that.
Even though Utahns have to wait until next week to get the shot, they can sign up for an appointment now. Appointments can be made at coronavirus.utah.gov. Those who will be eligible for the vaccine next week but want to make their appointment now need to make sure they are making the appointment for after March 24th.
The Canyon School District decides to keep to a blended schedule for the rest of the school year. The school district switched to a blended learning schedule this past fall due to COVID. Students currently attend in-person class 4 days a week and have virtual learning on Friday. Both teachers and students express their support of virtual Fridays and their exhaustion from the changing schedule since the pandemic.
I am June 1st tired in the middle of March. This has been the most difficult year in my entire teaching career.
Bradshaw says her students are frustrated with the chaos and change from this year. The board hopes their decision will help teachers, students, and parents keep to their current routines. The district plans to return to a 5-day in-person schedule next school year. Face masks will continue to be required in schools and on buses in the Canyon School District and other districts in the state. This rule applies even for people who have received vaccination. Even though the endgame bill approved by Utah lawmakers during the 2021 legislative session ends the state's mask mandate on April 10th, schools are exempt from the legislation. Governor Spencer Cox says the mask mandate will continue after April 10th in schools and for large gatherings.
And schools aren't the only ones still requiring masks. Harmon's Grocery announces it will still require customers to wear masks despite Utah lifting the mask mandate.
I think we all understand how important and how critical it is right now for all of us to care for one another and to be safe and healthy.
Harmon says it is sticking to the rule in order to protect their employees and customers. They intend to focus on safety until more people have been vaccinated.
Today marks 1 year since an earthquake shook the Wasatch Front. The U.S. Geological Survey received more than 30,000 reports from Utahns saying they felt the shaking that morning. The 5.7 magnitude earthquake struck on March 18, 2020 at 7:09 a.m. in Salt Lake County. The earthquake's epicenter was located just north of Magna. No major injuries were reported after the main shock or the aftershock, but more than 2,500 aftershocks have been recorded since the initial earthquake last year. Before the earthquake, the exact location of the Wasatch Fault line was unknown. But because of the Magna sequence, members of the Utah Seismic Safety Commission have determined that the earthquake took place along the Salt Lake City segment of the Wasatch Fault. They also know that the fault line curves into the earth at a shallow angle and is not as deep beneath the surface as they originally thought. This means that shaking during future earthquakes could be more severe and damaging.
If your home or business was impacted by the earthquake, you may still be eligible for financial help. You can apply to the U.S. Small Business Administration to receive up to $2 million to repair the damage caused by the earthquake. The deadline to apply is April 9th, 2021. To learn more or to apply for a loan, you can visit their website at disasterloonassistance.sba.gov or call them at 800-659-2955. Be Ready Utah will host a town hall meeting tonight about earthquake preparedness.
To start at home. You need to be prepared.
The organization teaches residents how to be prepared in various situations. For earthquake preparedness, they focus on topics such as house safety, safety drills, and food storage. The free seminar will be hosted tonight at 7:30, streamed on the Be Ready Utah page.
The Magna earthquake was fairly moderate in comparison to others, but was the strongest quake to hit Utah since 1962.
Sierra Isasaga is here to tell us how Utahns felt then and how they're feeling now, an entire year later. Sierra?
When taking the coronavirus into account just a week prior, it's not hard to see why this earthquake was traumatizing for many Utahns. And where better to go in 2020 to share our trauma than TikTok?
My family evacuated from Seattle to Utah to avoid the virus. Then this morning, there was an earthquake in Utah.
There is no way you're bound because everyone falls down sometime.
Many went to TikTok to reenact what they experienced, while others showed actual footage of the earthquake. But TikTok wasn't the only platform to blow up. Amy on Twitter says, "I remember my kids asking if the world was ending. First the pandemic and then the earthquake." Well, Utah Public Safety posted some reminder tips on how to reduce risk during an earthquake with the drop, cover, and hold on approach. And ABC News posted just this morning about another earthquake that happened today, just 10 minutes short of the exact anniversary of the Magna earthquake. Well, hopefully earthquakes don't become an annual tradition for Utah, but in case they do, the good news is that we can now be better prepared in the future. Back to you guys.
Governor Spencer Cox declares a state of emergency in Utah due to drought conditions. The declaration allows drought-affected communities, agricultural producers, and others to officially begin the process that may provide access to state or federal emergency resources. With 90% of the state experiencing extreme drought, the governor is asking Utahns to evaluate their water use and find ways to save. After a record dry summer and fall, the winter snowpack is only about 70% of the average for the year. Newly confirmed Secretary of the Interior, Deb Haaland, plans to visit Utah next month. Haaland is considering whether to reverse President Donald Trump's decisions to shrink national monuments in the state. She is expected to submit her report to President Joe Biden after her trip to the Beehive State in April. Haaland plans to meet with tribes, elected leaders, and others. She is yet to announce the specific dates of her visit.
Governor Cox continues to perfect his signature while he signed another 129 bills into law. This brings the total number of signed pieces of legislation from the 2021 General Legislative Session to 389. The batch of bills includes bonuses for teachers who have been working during the COVID-19 pandemic, the development of a campus safety plan for Utah colleges and universities, and an increase in the number of medical cannabis dispensaries. If you don't use your turn signal, you could now get a ticket in Utah. Newsline reporter Andrew Reed is in Provo. Andrew, why is law enforcement cracking down on those who don't use their turn signals before merging?
According to the insurance industry, Utah frequently ranks in the top 10 as having the worst drivers in the nation because of its high number of traffic accidents. The Utah legislator hopes to improve that image by urging drivers to do one simple thing, and that is simply turning the turn signal on before merging into another lane. Governor Spencer Cox signed House Bill 69 on Tuesday to amend the Utah Traffic Code. The new law requires Utah drivers to use their turn signals when merging or changing lanes and prohibits them from driving if their view gets obstructed. Senator Chris Wilson and Representative Calvin Musselman sponsored the bill.
You would have thought that there was a code that would require a driver to use a turn signal when they're coming to the end of a lane, but I guess there was nothing in code.
The bill also includes penalties for anything on the windshield that would limit a driver's view, things such as not being completely defrosted or having dirt or debris of any kind. Drivers will also need to limit what hangs on their rearview mirror using objects less than 25 square inches, about the size of an average parking pass.
So we have a lot of problem with people driving around with their windshields that aren't completely defrosted, and a lot of them are causing issues. I had one of them that ran into the front of yard of Fonserman, Representative Musselman.
Based on an analysis from more than 2 million insurance quotes in 2020, Utah ranked as the 5th most accident-prone state. Salt Lake was also ranked 6th in the nation for worst drivers.
I can't tell you how many times I've been on the freeway and someone's cut me off. So I think it would be beneficial to prevent accidents and people getting hurt.
The penalty for breaking this law is an infraction, which is the least serious traffic offense. Although the governor signed the bill this week, the new enforcement law won't take effect until the first week of May. Reporting for Newsline, I'm Andrew Reed.
Thanks, Andrew.
Mayor Kaufusi gives her second of 4 State of the City addresses.
Welcome to Provo's 2021 State of the City Address.
Kaufusi is splitting up Provo's State of the City addresses into 4 videos to represent the 4 Provo pillars. Her second address focused on the economy in Provo and features local businesses. She highlighted the economic aid the city provided local businesses during the pandemic that kept many afloat. She also mentioned how those who live in Provo can help local businesses thrive.
Every Provo resident, including you, can help Provo thrive economically.
Provo is home to 73 local restaurants, one being Hrushka's Kolaches, which is where the video was filmed. Today, a video will be released for the pillar Safe and Sound, and Friday, the final video for Forward Looking will be released.
Former NBA and BYU player Sean Bradley is paralyzed after a biking accident. The accident happened 2 months ago. Bradley was riding a bike a block away from his home in St. George when a car hit him from behind, paralyzing him. Bradley, who is a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, says he is relying on his faith. He also says his wife Carrie and the prayers from his family, friends, and fans are helping as he adjusts to life as a paraplegic.
The BYU student killed in a car accident on Tuesday has been identified. Police say 22-year-old Joseph Spencer was killed in a car accident in Provo on Tuesday. He was pulling out of the Taco Bell drive-thru on 9th East when he was T-boned by an oncoming black Tacoma. It's unknown what caused the accident, but it's possible that the heavy rain could have played a part. The other driver is a 51-year-old Provo resident and only received minor injuries.
A Utah National Guardsman receives the Utah Cross Award for his heroic actions in June. Technical Sergeant Eric Bornmeyer was the first on the scene of a head-on collision between a car and a motorcycle. Bornmeyer was on his way to work. The motorcyclist was lying in the road when Bornmeyer crossed several lanes of traffic to reach and help the victim. The Utah Cross is the second highest award a National Guard member can receive. It is only for bravery above and beyond the line of duty.
Salt Lake City is the most stress-free city in the nation. A study done by the Skin Store, an online skincare and cosmetics company, calculated the Zen score for each major city. The score looks at considers many factors like overall happiness, earnings, and even pollution. Salt Lake came in first, followed by Indianapolis, Des Moines, and Columbus. Anchorage was ranked last.
BYU released a study on the university's efforts to achieve racial equality. Find out what they are doing.
My background allows me to see racism when it happens.
Find out what scientists want to bury on the moon and why they want to bury it there. The Super Nintendo theme park is open. We'll take you inside the theme park and show you how it is different from the others.
And a sunrise that you don't see every day. Plus, we've got some rainstorms across the U.S. What that means for Utah, coming up.